It says broadcasting now, so we are live on air, and this is our second hangout of the year, and basically we're just going to talk about everything, anything Yowie. So we've got Dave who has come along today, and I'm going to ask him first what has he been up to down in his area and what results he has got. So Dave, you've got the floor.
Oh, I've just basically been chasing wildlife the last few weeks, but yeah, no, the areas that I'm interested in down here predominantly interest me because of the sound recordings that I've captured. Uh, there's a lot of everything's relevant. One man's bipedal walking seems to be another person's idea of what a wallaby or a kangaroo does. But yeah, so you can only operate, I think, on your own idea of what these recordings are indicating, and get a few people that have had a bit of experience at listening to these type of files to give you their idea, and hopefully comes to some sort of consensus with that. It's a bit like with sound recordings. The amount of times I thought I'd heard some sort of blood curdling yowie yell in the dead of night, to find out that it's some rare type of mating call of a boobook owl. It's uh, but when you've got the right people that you can verify these sound recordings with, it takes out a lot of the guesswork uh, as to what is possibly a yowie, and what is just a naturally occurring thing.
Hmm.
You only have to turn on YouTube and you can see three or four uh, 30-second videos pop up in a row, saying that this is a yowie climbing up the tree, or this is a yowie saying, I like um, peanut butter sandwiches. But the reality is there are people who are looking at these sound recordings properly, and sifting out uh, the known stuff from the unknown stuff. It all paints a little bit of a picture, I think.
Yeah, the recordings I got of the howl, or the howls, the series of howls that lasted 35 minutes at Marramara last month, was a couple of guys in America through Simon, who deals a lot with the American Bigfoots and stuff, all their groups. He's heavily involved in that. So he said a couple of guys over there had a look at the sound and said, it was very interesting. They said it wasn't a dog, and they'd gone through all the noises of dogs and dingoes and all the Australian animals and that, and they said they just couldn't find anything that matched. And there was a couple, and they said I think they did say they picked up infrasound in the howls. I don't know how they've got that. That's one thing I want to try and find out, how you can record it and then through a program on the internet or something you can buy or download that can pick up the infrasound, and then how you can go about it, working out what infrasound maybe goes to what animal, if every animal's got their own kind of infrasound, because we can't hear it. But is it just yowies that have got it? I don't know, because I'm not really that knowledgeable about that part yet, but that's one thing I want to look into next.
Yeah, well, infrasounds ain't just come up on my radar. I'm not so convinced of this. I mean, people are drawing a long bow uh, between um, feeling like they're being watched, or suddenly getting the heebie-jeebies and wanting to run away, and being hit with some sort of magical below hearing level sound wave. So yeah, I'm not going to comment any more than that, mate. I'd have to have somebody explain it to me fairly succinctly
I've only had
before.
that, yeah, like I've only had that like a weird feeling. I think would have to be, I had it at Vera Falls, which is down past Wentworth Falls. I had it down there where I really thought something was watching me, and I was really got spooked out, you know. And it was the only time I've ever raced out of the mountains, set my gear up, and then I thought, oh, I've got to come back here and get it. So, but I was happy at the same time. I thought if there's something is there, I might get something there. And then I've had it one day just walking on a trail. I can't remember, somewhere in the mountains, and you know, I just kept looking behind. I just you know, I got the goosebumps and everything. I didn't really feel like anything was making me feel freaked out. I think it's more half of it is, you know, people get a bit, you know, you get that heebie-jeebies feeling, and that kind of freaks them out more, and they start getting a bit anxiety attack kind of comes in, and it might, you know, overtake every sense that they have, and it just wants them to run. So they kind of get. But then you get people that have been in for years and years and years, and you know, never see anything, and then all of a sudden something weird happens, which has got all the, what could I say, all the things that happens in a Yowie encounter, like, you know, you got your whoops and your wood knocks and something run around in the bush bipedally and heavy, you know, heavy footsteps and things like that, and then they get that feeling like something's, they've got a heavy chest and they start feeling real weird and scared, and then, you know, they do the bolt, and they've been in the bush for years and years and camp by themselves and just lay under the stars, you know, next to a fire. You know, they get some hardcore people out there that have been scared out of their wits for some reason, you know, and then you ask them, was it a Yowie? And they're like, oh, you know, like, I don't know, never seen one, I'm not really into them. But then they still don't discard that as well, because, you know, there's a lot of good people out there that have had stories and they just don't tell them. You know, a lot of people talking on the AYR forum and through the audio reports, and some of them are going back to the 1950s when these guys are only like 18 going shooting in the bush in the, you know, middle of young or something. So there's that many stories out there that could.
Well, can I ask a question before we move on from that infrasound thing?
Yeah.
See, your video of the Yowie going around that, you know, 15-foot cliff.
It's 12 foot.
12-foot cliff.
Yeah.
I believe that's a true capture of a Yowie going around the cliff that you caught. But
Yep.
the question I'm going to ask you is, can you remember at that particular time when you're inspecting that tree, that broken tree?
Yeah.
Do you reminisce having any sort of different type of feeling to how you'd feel ordinarily being in the bush?
No, I didn't smell, hear, feel anything. The only way I knew that it was there when I actually told you one morning was, I think after the fifth or sixth time I watched the whole video, because I always watch all my videos in case I miss something, like I did there. And I said, I think I've got something in the back. But the reason why I think was, I only remember during that time I had my Achilles operation, and I was like on crutches for about 4 to 5 months. And virtually I went out to Red Hands Cave because it's the easiest trail to go to.
I've
And
been to Red Hands.
my mind was more half on protecting my foot, and I shouldn't be out here, but I'm that keen to go out. I just want to go out because, like, you guys are all getting these evidence, and I'm sitting there on my crutches. So I finally was off the crutches, and I was able to walk in a boot, and I actually walked down there, just took the boot off. I was pretty stupid. So I had that on my mind, and I had the flu. So I had, all my senses were blocked. My ears were just crackling. You know, I shouldn't have been up there in the first place. So I had, my senses were already concentrating on other things. I wasn't calm. I wasn't like, oh, you know, what's that? And plus I was trying to check out how hard this little branch, about a little tree, was about probably so round, and I actually bent it in a circle, and I was just trying to break it, couldn't break it. There had to be something that grabbed hold of that with a lot of force to break it. And there was no foot marks around there, so I don't know how it got broken. I can't say what.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there and seen the tree.
But I didn't.
Shortly after the thing happened.
I didn't see.
Yeah, mate, you couldn't break that. No one could break that. That was the most unusual out of place thing I've ever seen. But no, but just onto that point, you know, there was a situation where you had one, you know, 15 meters away from you.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to get hit with infrasound, don't you think that might have been the time?
Um, I can say yes and no, because it's probably different types of scenarios where they're going to use that to, you know, if they're in that area and they want you to get out, they might give out a sound like a holler, but we can't hear it. And it might be something that, you know, scares off animals and that. So they use it on us and it, you know, makes us feel weird. Plus, when they make a movement, we makes us feel weird and scared. And then we hear something in the bush and we can't see it. And we think, oh, it's running around with two legs. So then we get even scarier, even more scared. So we, you know, we take off. But see, it was coming around, and for the couple of, I think I was told it was like 6 frames, but you actually see it was like it's turning around. Actually see like it was like looking, and for a couple of seconds you
Yeah,
actually
it throws its arm out at the same
yeah,
time.
it was turning around, so it was actually leaving, saying, all right, something's there, I'll just go a different way. So it wasn't really, you know, thinking of doing any sort of infrasound or anything to get rid of me. Yeah, I not long after that, when I actually probably, you're looking at after I tried to break the branch, because what I did, I had my camera, I had it there, I grabbed it to put it down, and then stand here and try and bend it and to show people how hard it is to break. That's when I caught it up in the background. You probably 5 minutes later, I was standing where it was. About 5 minutes, 5 8 minutes later, after I kind of, you know, scrambled up the little ridge. It looks like it's really far away. It looks like the ridge is really high. It's actually not. It's actually
it's not. No, it's only a hop, skip, and a jump.
And until you go there, and then you see the wall, and it's virtually like straight up. And you know, I'd have to be. You nearly have to be on your own shoulders to be level with the 12 foot. If you're 6 foot high.
Yeah.
So it's you know. So that was really weird. I you know I didn't see it. So or hear it or anything. I don't know if I really wanted to see it because it was only about, you know, a 12 foot high ridge, and it was only like a foot and a half shorter. So it was around 10 foot, maybe a little bit taller. But yeah, I always think it had something like a wallaby or something on its shoulder. It had that shape where it's turned around and it's like, you know, you can see like a weird shape and I don't know. Um,
Oh, mate, it is what it is. You can only get so much information out of it.
Yeah, 6 frames. So you know, I got a couple of theories, and a couple of people have said that when they've watched it, you know, said it to me. This is what we think it is, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I think. But you know, everyone's got their theories. People think it's part of its hair, part of its, you know, its arm. But it was really bushy. So that part you're seeing is only a snippet of the whole body. You're not seeing shoulders. You're not seeing legs. You're only seeing the top half, because that was full bush. Back then when I filmed it, that was very, very thick. It was
I was there shortly after, mate, with Harry.
Yeah. So
yeah,
me and Harry actually did we did a few, you know, tests, because when we went there, I went there with Harry. I never exactly knew where it was, even though I watched the video. He said to me, "Where was it?" And I'm pointing on top of the rock ledge, and he goes, "No, it can't be there. It's got to be here." And I'm like, "Man, I haven't really, you know, exactly know where it was." And then we got down and I watched the video, you know, and I went, yeah, it is here. So look, that's showing I didn't know where it really was. And then we worked out exactly where it was by the video and looking at it, studied it. And then I stood there where it was, and he was standing down with the exact camera that I had filming, and he was just like, you know, awestruck. He was just going, oh, that's absolutely unbelievable. He goes, I can't see you. I cannot see you there. The only part I can see is way up the top, and it's like 10 foot in the air. That's the part I can see. I said, yeah, that's the only part you can see. And he's like, oh, that's.
Anyway, I suggest to anybody that hasn't seen the video, they need to go to this YouTube channel, Australian Yowie, and have a look at it. But in my opinion, it's the only real video of a Yowie that's been captured to date. You know, the rest of the stuff you see on YouTube's just rubbish.
Yeah, no, I've only just released it this year, like on my channel. That was filmed in 2013 in I think it was the start of July or mid-June. It was something like that. I can't remember the exact date, but it was around that. And yeah, it was cloudy day, cold day, probably 12, 10 degrees. It was really cold up there. So I've actually had more encounters when it's been raining or wet or cold. When it's hot, no, nothing. But when it's cold, because there's less people around, that's when I've had more things happen. So
Anyway, you'll be able to mention all of these encounters in the Yowie Times. That's due out on the 7th, isn't it?
yeah, on the 7th, we've only just finished doing all the editing and putting all the pages together. The first one was 30. Sorry, the first one was only 6 pages. It was in my mind for a long time to do something like a what could I say, like a newsletter, magazine, or something like that. So it took one weekend to make it up, and I made it up myself with my wife. She helped me a lot with doing Microsoft Publisher. She knows, all the little tricks. Without her, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it that first one as good as I did. So I quickly learnt off her what to do for the next one, and we've got yourself, and I've got 3 other fellow researchers doing articles, all on there. Yours is just about anything that around your area that you want to talk about. Adam's more like into like techie things, how to get things working, and that what we use to do Yowie research, and like parabolic dishes and trail cameras and torches and everything like that. He might be doing a bush survival one week and the tech tips one week, mixing it up, because he does bush survival as well. So like techniques, how to best way to make a fire pit when it's windy, so you can keep warm and not start a bushfire and stuff like that, or the best way how to bandage legs and stuff like that, or set up canvas tarps or something when you've only got sticks, and the best way to tie them down. He's been doing that for a long time. And Harry's always into the ancient hominins, and he's going to talk about them. So that's basically, it leads up to us, and maybe.
Yeah, but that's a really interesting little sideline. Harry also posts on a Facebook group in the ACT area, and his research into the ancient hominids leaves you really thinking about the possibility that what we're dealing with here is in fact an ancient hominid, a relic hominid.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm looking forward to Harry's contributions to that.
Yeah, so, he's on to his 2nd article, so that's good. And then we've got another researcher who wants to say a bit of an alias, and he's doing like techniques of how to do different techniques of researching how to what he does and how he finds out all his his conclusions and stuff. And then we have what I'm doing. I have a witness report as well. So anyone who has had an encounter, or they think they've had an encounter, they want to email me at australianyowie@gmail.com and give me the whole encounter, and then we'll just edit it and then put it on. Just tell us where it was when it happened, and we're too happy to put it on an issue. We've got another one I'm calling it community billboard, where if you've got any kind of camping equipment or anything, you want to sell it, you can post it on there, or you want freebies. Just say you got an old tent. There's nothing wrong with it, but you're not going to use it. So I got a tent. Who wants it? Then you can give a contact information, and someone can email you, and you can do the rest by yourselves. There's a photo of the month, so we're calling it Reader's Snapshot. It was called Photo of the Month for the 1st edition, but we're just going to call it Reader's Snapshot. So we've got a well-known researcher. He's from the UK, Adam Davies, and he's living in America now. So he was in Washington. So there's a picture on there of him doing some research out at Washington. And what else have we got? Simon. Simon he's a lot to do with all the Bigfoot groups and that. So he's doing an article called Around the World with Simon. So he's going to talk about different, different cryptid creatures like the orang pendek, Yowies, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Almasti, Almas, Yeti. He's going to talk about all them. That's his big interest. What else have we got there? It's 35 pages long, this one, so it's free. You want to read it, so you just subscribe like we said, and we'll add you to the list. We have, I think, getting towards 70 people. It's only been one issue, so it's pretty good. It keeps climbing. As soon as I posted the front cover of the second one, I made it very what could I say, very striking, big mouth with teeth. So I liked it. So it took me a while to get that picture right, but I got it right. So yeah, I posted it up, and I soon got a lot of emails. Probably got about 20 more people wanted to join up. Got another 5 or 6 today. So I think when the word gets around, it'll just grow and grow and grow. So I'm hoping. I've got a couple of other researchers said they want to do an article in the future. Someone said they've got one ready. Just different articles. I'm happy to, if you've got an article you want to talk about something, send it in to me. If you want to make a name for it, and then I'll make the page up, get it edited, and we'll put it in. So, if I've got 10 people doing a page each or 2 pages each, I'm happy to, I'm all happy for that. I really don't want to get it to be 35 pages like it was this time. It does take a long time to get everything set up right. Mainly because you'll do, we put pictures in the background, and then we've got to make them lighter or darker, put the right words, make it the picture the right darkness so you can read the words, then color the words in a different color, maybe yellow or red or blue or white on a black background, the borders, and we've got to get the colors right. Try not to use the same kind of colors on different pages, just keep everything different. And then it took me, I think, about 4 hours just to get the cover right the way I wanted it. So it was just 4 hours on the front cover. So that was basically one night. Wait a second, my phone's going off. Sorry, it was just an alarm. Anyway, yeah, so that took me about 4 hours. I want to try and keep it to about under 20 pages, 18 to 20 pages. It'll probably take me 2 weeks to get all the information off everyone, and then it'll take me like about, a week to do the editing, and then it'll take me another week to do the pages. So it'll be like a 4-week process. Where this one was basically, we actually knocked it over pretty quick, but it was actually, I did probably a week and a half. It was just like from about 6 o'clock to like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. So I was doing 6 hours a night on top of everything else I do here. So we got pretty good. I learned how to do Microsoft Publisher. Like, I know how to do a lot of it now, where I don't have to ask my wife, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? I can do a lot of it myself. So that's good. I haven't been out myself to do too much. It's just been too cold. Like, we had the coldest day in history in Sydney here yesterday. And then that's just my wife opening up the cupboard. Yeah, basically it was the coldest day in Sydney here in history for this time of year. And then today it's 22 degrees. So it's gone from 11 to 22. And it's just like 11 degrees difference. It's like it's summertime here. I'm wearing shorts and a shirt. I'm wearing my AYR Yowie shirt. So if you want to get one of these, it's on the AYR site, and I just give it a bit of a plug, and then got Yowie Hunters Forum on the back. So I don't mind. It's a good shirt. They've got other ones coming out. So yeah, that's about all I've been doing. I haven't been doing much. It's too cold, but I want to try and set up. I've been asking a few guys how to set up the sound recorder hooked to like a car battery, and then you've got to do something so the battery doesn't send too much power to the sound recorder and then burns it out. So I'm going through that. So if I had something like that, I would have gone out to Glenbrook not long ago at a different area where the first issue, the witness account where it happened, meet up with the actual guy that had the witness account, and then take it all there and then leave it there for like, I've got a 32 gig card, just leave it in there for like 2 weeks and see what I get. But I'm not up to that stage yet. And to buy batteries like lithiums, you get the lithium batteries and put in here. You're supposed to get 6-7 days with the lithiums, maybe, if that. But Dave, the cold just saps the power out of them. You get lucky to get 3 or 4 days.
Now, last time I set a recorder, recently it was going down around the -6, -7 mark, and batteries that lasted for 7 days were, actually in the trail camera, batteries that would last 6 months were flat within a week.
Because it was -8.
But they were cheap alkaline batteries. They weren't.
Yeah, but still, that's still pretty quick. Like even the cheap batteries, you get a couple of months out of them. Even if you get 2 months, but they're going in 1 week. That shows you how much the cold does sap the life out of batteries. So
yeah,
that's that's why I haven't been worried about going up there. Plus, I've been doing a lot, going out overnights, every second week for a while. So I've just given it a bit of a rest, and I've been doing other family things just to keep everyone happy. If I just do Yowie things all the time, it might cause a few ripples, but. So I've done a few other things, but I want to go out this weekend, even if it's just for a hike. Just on Saturday, I'm going to go out. I don't care if it's cold or raining. I'm going out.
New area.
Pardon?
New area.
I'm actually probably just do an easy hike. I haven't been to the site where I was going to set up the sound recorder with this first witness report, so that's what I'm going to check it out. I just want to have a check out the area. I want to check out if there's any tree breaks, tree bites, anything, and then after that I'll have a look around. I'll pick a spot. The spot that he did say where he's seen it, it's like a clearing, and he's actually gave me the photo of where it is, so I know what it looks like. So possibly if I did do that, I'd have to go up the clearing and then go into the bush and set it up somewhere up there, and hope for the best, like we all do, and hopefully no one steals the gear or nothing happens to it and it's all there. Because it does cost a bit. Like you get one of these, they're like $120. You can probably get it on eBay, maybe 90 or something. Plus you buy the batteries and the mini, SD cards are like $30. So if you get one of them stolen and your trail cam, you're looking at about $400. So you take a risk every time you go out, and I haven't got nothing to lock my trail cam to the tree. I've just got it's just a strap and I tie it up. But I've been lucky. I've only had the one trail cam and I haven't had anyone steal it. So I'll just keep going the way I'm going. So
yeah, that's how I think of it.
Yeah,
No, I've actually taken photos of hikers hiking past the camera, and none of them paid any attention to it. So
they camouflage pretty well if you put them in the right spot. Like if they're like a green box on a grey ghost gum, white gum tree, they're going to go, hey, there's a child camera. If you put it inside a similar coloured tree, or you shove a few ferns around it, so it's just got ferns hanging around it and it's in between. The people usually hiking, they're a bit tired, and then their mind's not focusing on anything else but a trail, and I want to get to the end. So and I did do a trail review on I think you have read the trail review. I did it on Perry's Lookdown. It goes into the Gross Valley at Blackheath in the Blue Mountains, and yeah, that was really hard. I think that was the hardest hike.
You'd have to be pretty brave to do that, I think.
stupid. Yeah, that was pretty hard because we had all our gear. It didn't rain, so it really didn't take wet weather gear. It was just the backpack itself, tent, and my airbat mattress, just all the food. I took my own water in, but I just took like 3 liters of water, so there's 3 kilos there. My food just for a night, and then it was just the equipment, like the trail camera and the sound recorder and the parabolic dish and the batteries and extra batteries in case they die, and some safety stuff, and it just all adds up. And it just unfortunately we didn't get anything there. There was nothing. We got down there and there was just people everywhere. It was like, I don't know, minimum probably 50, 60 people camped all along. The campground goes pretty far, a couple of 100 meters, and they're even across on other side, on other sides of the creek there, right near the water. But we walked around and seen a big carpet python and a couple of nocturnal animals, and But I went there the first time, and there was probably 15 people there. And they were more up the other end, and I had things run around, tree breaks, constant noises. I could hear things running around a lot, and then I said, I've got to come back here. This is like, but it's like they're in that area then. It doesn't mean they're going to be in that area when you go back. They've gone. They're in another area. They've, eaten up all the food around the area, and then they want to go somewhere else. So, hunter-gatherers, they hunt, they eat it, and then let's go to another area, and we'll come back to this area later when it's all grown back or the animals will all come back and we've got more food. But I was very disappointed that we went on that hard a trail with the gear. Yeah, it's just, I didn't think it was that hard. I thought it was going to be like, I knew it was 2 hours shorter than the other trail coming in from Govert Sleep. That's 5 hours. I've done that. And that was pretty hard. And then I thought this one wasn't going to be too bad, but just the steepness of it, you just every stride, your legs are just going, I've had enough. So I did a trail review on that, talking about, a bit of the trail and basically how hard it was, and a little bit history of the area, of people saving the Blue Gum Forest, the name of the person and what the trail was, who the trail was named after and stuff like that. So I think it was about 3 pages or 4 pages long. A few pictures of us so you can see the actual backpacks that we're wearing and the actual trail. So if you want to do it, I suggest people, like I did in the actual article, do a few trails first, a few hiking trails first, just lead your way into it. Or if you are fit, reasonably fit, just take a light backpack, just do it in the cooler months. Don't do it in the hotter months. Maybe 2 liters of water, a bag of Mars bars, and that's it. Just take a little backpack. It's too hard. I'll never do. After that, I'll never do a hike that hard with a backpack with that weight. Never again. I want to try and do some drive to the location, set up, and then hike along trails after that. So I want to try and find some trails that we can do during the night once we get all out.
We've got the Wee Jasper expedition coming up in
it's October long weekend. So, but basically the 30th of September, which is the Saturday, then you got the 1st on the Sunday and the 2nd of October on the Monday. So I want to try and get down there on the Friday. I want to try and take a day off work and leave Friday. So I don't really want to drive down that way in the the long weekend, holiday makers going down. It's going to take me forever to get down there. I know I'm probably going to have a bit of traffic getting back, but that doesn't really worry me then. I just want to get down there, and I want to do it in the daytime too, because I don't know the area. So we're probably going to have to meet up with someone. I'll probably arrange to meet up with Scott or something, or yourself, because you're coming along, are you? I think you said you're coming.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there.
Well, I could possibly drive into Canberra, pick you up, and then we'll go to Wee Jasper from there. It doesn't worry me.
No, I'll talk to you about it offline, but either that or I'll get there. That's all right. I'm not far away, but I'll talk to you about it later anyway.
All right. So I think we've got about 7, 8 people going at the moment. So it's basically this area is from this July issue of the Yowie Times Witness Report. This is the area that we're going to go to. It's a fellow researcher, Scott. He had 2 encounters there, and one was with a friend that had never been doing any Yowie research or anything, and he said he actually saw it, and then he wanted just to go home straight away. He didn't want to stay there. So they virtually packed up and left. They didn't stay the night. They got up and went, we're out of here. So they're a bit shook up, but yeah, we're going to go out and just see what's going on out there. So we'll have a few parabolic dishes, we'll have a few sound recorders, we'll have a few trail cams. You know, something's going to happen. Something's going to turn up. We're going to get some sort of good evidence, you know. So I might even get another parabolic dish before then, and then have it just, you know, tie it to a tree and just have the trigger done, and then just have it pointing out into the bush. So, you know, in an area, so whatever's on one side, it'll just get it, pick it up. So if anything comes through, we'll get it. We'll try and do some, I don't know, food traps, or we'll try and do something. We'll work something out while we're down there, and we'll be there for a couple of nights. So hopefully something comes our way. It'll be all good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's a really wild environment.
Yeah,
it stretches right through. Eventually, it ends up, if you go through Wee Jasper, you end up at Tumut.
Okay.
So you're talking about the Brindabella National Park, and places like Bondo Forest, and yeah, it's a wild area, very wild area. Yeah, but anyway, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to the Yowie Times coming out on the 7th.
Yeah, on the 7th.
And that'll have, like you said, that'll have the witness report in it that has spurred this expedition to Wee Jasper in October.
Yep.
So
the only way you can get the Yowie Times is email australianyowie@gmail.com. It's not going to be posted anywhere else. So if you want to subscribe, just email me, and then we'll put you on the list.
Oh, good. All right, mate. Well, I might call it a night.
Yep.
It was nice chatting with you, and the 7th's going to come around quicker than what we know, and hopefully it's 70 people now wanting to read it. Hopefully that readership will grow pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and all the effort that's going into producing it will be worthwhile.
Yeah, like I got an email from someone. They said you can see the actual love, you know, the labor of love put into each page. You know, it's just not like, oh yeah, that'll do. A lot of pages I made up, and I went, no, I can make that better. So I went back and did it again, and then sometimes I went back and did it again, till I kind of virtually got to that stage where when I got to a page and I went, yeah, I know what this researcher, I know what he's about, and I know what kind of person he is, his personality, and I made each page to it. But the page setups is going to change every week. It's not going to be always the same setup where you're going to see the same background and everything. It's, you know, probably the headline, which is probably, you know, off the track with Dave, will still be the same, but the page colors and everything will all change. Picture behind the words are all changed, just to make it interesting every week. Oh, sorry, every month. But yeah, so it comes out on the 7th, which I think is it Thursday? Friday. It's on Friday. So I'll be emailing it out on Friday. It'll probably be Friday afternoon. Probably do it maybe like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's not just people in Australia. I've got some people from America. I think there's maybe a couple of Canadians that are in the Bigfoot groups in America. So it's people around the world. So anyone, doesn't matter what country you're in, just send your email address in to me and say I want to subscribe, and you'll be on the list. So
excellent.
And if anyone's got any articles that they want to do or they want to see, they want us to write about a certain area in the Blue Mountains or a certain area up or down the east coast, or any topic, just send a message in, and we'll get there and we'll work out and see if we can do the best we can on writing an article that you want to hear about. So we try and keep everyone happy.
Oh, cheers, mate. You're doing an excellent job.
Thanks very
Doing an
much.
excellent job. But that's easy for me to see because I've had a bit of a sneak peek. Anyway, on the 7th, everybody can look forward to it, eh?
I really didn't give you the issue. I just made like a little dodgy one on the side and said, yeah, keep you happy. No, you got the. I'll just say that all the guys that were like, had something to do with the actual issue, if it was editing, or the witness report, or one of the articles, they've already received their copy. So they've only got it yesterday, I think, so, or the day before. So they've got theirs. That was just a treat. If you're involved, you get it a bit early. But if it's not ready till the 7th or the 6th, well, then you're getting it with everyone else. I think I got lucky. I thought it was going to take me right up till like the 7th to get it done. But I actually started knocking the pages over really quick with the more I knew about the program. So the more I knew about Microsoft Publisher, it was really quick. So so anyway, thanks for the chat today, Dave. We'll try to do another Yowie Hangout soon. And if we've gone out a bit more, we've got a bit more evidence, or something pops up, we'll have to talk about it. But no, it's always good to catch up with you, Dave.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to join in on these hangouts, feel free.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of adding Australian Yowie to your circles and getting in contact with Dan, and he'll add you to the invite list.
Yeah, I just put you on the circles. And if you've got a encounter or anything that you want to talk about, if you don't want to show your face, just talk to keep your video camera turned off, and we can still hear you talking, but we just can't see you. If you want to be anonymous, you can do it that way.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, mate. Thank you very much.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure talking to you as usual.
Yeah, you too, Dave. Hopefully it's not too cold down there in Canberra.
Oh, it's balmy. It's absolutely balmy. I think it's going down to only 0 tonight.
0 G. You're I don't know. I don't know how you guys can live down there. It's too cold, man. Like, it's cold enough here.
It's bracing. It's bracing, mate. It's healthy. It's good for you.
You're privileged with 0. It's a privilege to have it not in the minus.
As you can see, I'm sitting here in my t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm sitting in my t-shirt, but I'm in Sydney.
All right, mate. I got to go.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Catch you later.
Bye, mate.